Hello everybody, this is Vampyra. I'm back with a new video, and today is going to be another short scary story reading video. So for the first scary story I see, it's called I Got Stuck in an Elevator with a Creepy Guy Who Said He Was My Fan. And let's begin. As I stepped into the small elevator, the man immediately started staring at me. It was just the two of us, and the panel was on his side. Luckily, the button for the first floor was already pressed. No need for chatting. But it was a tall, old building, and as the elevator slowly passed through its 32 floors, I noticed the man kept sizing me up. I focused on the door. "Are you Anna Hansen?" he asked. "Yes," I replied. "I knew it," he exclaimed excitedly. "I've been following your career since the 2021 state championship. You made history there." "Thank you," I responded. "Just a gymnastics fan, I guess," but his appearance left me uneasy. He looked to be in his 40s, about 6 feet, with wild, thinning hair. I'm 5'1". I had never seen him in the building before, and I came here every Thursday for therapy. "I just want to say," he continued, "the blue leotard you wore during your last vault was the prettiest I've ever seen." Okay, my instincts weren't wrong. What a creep. I thanked him again, forcing an awkward smile, and turned to the elevator's display. 5th floor, almost there. Then a loud noise, followed by a sudden jolt, made me lose balance. The lights flickered before coming back under emergency power. "Oh no," he muttered. "This old building keeps falling apart." He pressed the alarm button, but no sound came out of it. "We'll have to wait," he said, flashing an unsettling smile that sent a chill down my spine. Determined not to engage further, I checked my phone. No signal. And that's not what you want to hear or see. We sat in silence for minutes until, of course, he decided to speak again. "Your life story is also quite impressive," he said. "Daughter of a poor Texas rancher. Left the cows for the city and got discovered at 12. Extremely moving." "Thank you," I replied, now uneasy with how much he knew about my background. "You're my second favorite gymnast," he added, after Carly Miller. That name made my skin crawl. Carly Miller was my biggest rival. In a month, we were set to face off in the national finals. The man reached into his pocket, pulling out a small blade. "But it's not a fair comparison," he said, a twisted grin forming as he stepped closer. "For Carly, I'd do anything. What happened next was hard to explain to the police. The stab I took in my shoulder, the gun on my right hip, and the 3 shots I fired into his chest. The relief of seeing the elevator doors open again, even if I was soaked in blood. The injuries kept me from competing in the finals, but Carly Miller was also unable to compete. She was arrested 5 days later for encouraging a fan to murder me, texting him details of my daily routine. Thankfully, her research wasn't detailed enough. The daughter of a Texas rancher always carries a gun." I did like that. And now I will look for another story. So bear with me. Let's see. I finally know why my prayers were never answered. This must be good. When I was 6, I prayed for my mother to stop crying. Her sobs rattled through the walls each night. Her body curled into the couch, empty bottles rolling across the floor. I clasped my hands and whispered into the dark, asking God to make her better, to take away the sadness that made her a ghost in her own home. She never got better. Well, really, I also never had my prayers answered. When I was 12, I prayed for my father to come back. At dinner, I told my mother I had won a school competition. She nodded without looking up. "That's nice, sweetheart." I glanced at the empty chair where he used to sit, aching to hear, "Well done, son. I'm proud of you." "Are you winning, son?" That night, I asked for a sign that he still thought of us, that we weren't just the past life he had erased. The chair stayed empty. When I was 17, I prayed for strength. Well, you're obviously going to get weak. The kids at school left bruises where they thought no one would see. I never hit back. I never let them turn me cruel. I told myself it was a test, that God was watching, that kindness meant something even when it hurt. The bruises faded, the loneliness never did. Honestly, side comment, you should fight back. But when I was 32, I stopped praying for myself. Instead, I prayed for others, for the old man sleeping outside my apartment, for the children in the hospital whose bodies failed them before they had a chance to live, for the friend who fought his demons alone and lost. The world never changed, but I still believed. Even when I was old, even when sickness ate away at me, even when I took my final breath, I opened my eyes to find myself standing before the gates of heaven. Except the golden arch stood twisted and rusted, barely clinging to its hinges. The pearl-adorned walls, once radiant with divine light, were cracked and overgrown with vines, abandoned for centuries. You know, I really like the vocabulary in this one. Beyond the gates, heaven stretched before me, its faded gold tarnished, its streets empty beneath sagging clouds. See, it's so, visual. I love it. The bodies of angels littered the ground, their wings torn and burned. Shattered halos lay half-buried like discarded crowns. No voices, no songs, no warmth, only silence. At the heart of heaven, the throne stood empty, its seat split apart as if whatever had once sat there had left a long, long time ago. I stood in the ruins of the kingdom I had spent my entire life believing in, the place I had prayed to, cried for, held onto when everything else had failed. It was then I realized why in life my prayers were never answered. There was no longer anyone to hear them. That reminds me of the game I'm playing right now, God of War Ragnarok, and the previous God of War, where you get to Jotunheim and the giants are all dead. That just reminds me of this. Alright, and for one final story, let's see. This one's a not safe for work story I posted 9 hours ago. Let's see. My husband wasn't attracted to me anymore, so I decided to try a whole new look. Let's see. Sounds strange, especially because it's not safe for work. Hurry up, my husband grunted. Bed's getting cold. Just the minute I called out, I preened in the bathroom mirror meticulously, trying to capture an air of effortlessness, sexiness, like something out of Cosmopolitan. Sorry to keep you waiting, I said, lingering seductively in the doorway in my new lace negligee. What do you think? My husband, Butch? Is it a woman? Glanced briefly up from his phone. Cute, he replied. I purred, lying beside him. I look even better with it off. Butch sighed, rubbing his eyes. I'm tired, babe, he groaned. Maybe another night. There was a time when Butch couldn't keep his hands off me, but skin sags, hair's gray. 20 years of marriage had made us strangers of us both. But honestly, that's why you gotta keep the spark going by doing crazy shit. He'd grown moody and cold in recent years, working late at every opportunity. I tried everything to rekindle our spark. Have you tried witchcraft? Every diet, every cream, every over 40 advice column. Nothing worked. But tonight was gonna be special. I meant sure of it. You sure? I asked, gently sliding a hand up his thigh. I can be very persuasive. Now I'm wondering what's going on here. What are you gonna pull? Babe, seriously, he said, his tone sharper. I'm not in the mood. Not even for a surprise? I asked playfully. His eyes narrowed. What sort of surprise? I read that the key to a healthy bedroom is knowing your partner, I replied. So I went out and picked up something just for you. By the look in his eyes, I'd piqued his interest for the first time in months. Can I see it? He asked. Of course, I said, producing a pair of fuzzy pink handcuffs from under the bed. On one condition. You can't be serious, he scoffed. Is that part of it? You always wanted to try bondage, I said, playfully gripping his wrist. Now shut up and put them on. Bro, I feel like she's gonna lock him on the bed and just leave him locked up forever. With an exasperated sigh, he allowed me to cuff his wrist to the headboard. I ordered him to close his eyes while I fetched the surprise. All right, I said, open up. When he opened his eyes, he burst out laughing. Really, Rose? He chuckled. A wig? What can I say? I said, gently balancing the strawberry curls. I know you like redheads. His eyes went wide, amusement replaced by fright. Who told you I like redheads? The girl you've been sleeping with. Okay, that's pretty good. I replied, smiling. She told me all about what you like. Rose, what did you do? He demanded, panic rising in his voice. We just talked. Man, she went fucking yandere all of a sudden. I answered, popping back to the bathroom to freshen up. She had so much to say. As I made myself pretty in the mirror, he hollered and cursed, threatening to call the police. But when he saw what I was wearing, he screamed. I gently straddled his midsection, his eyes darting to the half-congealed blood dribbling down my neck and onto the bedsheets. As he thrashed and howled, I leaned in for a deep, passionate kiss, letting him remember her taste. Like how you adore a pretty face. Ooh, she cut off her face and wore it. That's crazy as fuck. Alright. Well, that's all. I hope you enjoyed the 3 stories, and I will definitely be making this into like a permanent series. Like, I'm just gonna keep doing this, kind of like a female Mr. Nightmare, you know, female gay witch Mr. Nightmare. If that piques your interest, it's kind of niche, but whatever. I probably won't be making any more like election videos for a while, because honestly, I mean, what's more to there to say, really? The country's going to shit, and that's all you can really say before it starts regurgitating the same information. So honestly, I'm just gonna take a different turn here and continue the scary stories, and then eventually I'm gonna buy a mic and try to do some streaming. I know I said I was gonna do that before, but I never did it because I forgot. Yeah, and mostly right now I'm playing God of War anyways, so it's probably something that people want to see. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.